Yeah, recent.
Just copy.
Final, है ना?
Final. Perfect. Okay. So we begin our webinar today for the Omicron. It feels like micron, Omicron, alien. It sounds like all possible words. But this infection has taken charge for the past 6 weeks. Bhavish and I have been observing the development since 24th of November, since it was first. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Since we saw it first coming up in South Africa, because we knew that the trend is going to spread everywhere and it's going to be big. And we have been minutely observing the developments that took place and the symptoms that people were coming up with. We were glad to know from the physicians that were treating in South Africa was that the symptoms were not so intense, people were recovering, and the fatality was far less as compared to the previous version, the Delta version, which we all have seen in action, and some of us are still seeing it in some part of the world. There is no sound?
What's happening, Shashindra?
There is sound?
Some can hear and some.
Nobody.
No, there is sound. Everyone can.
Everybody can hear me? Yeah, just a thumbs up will be good enough. Well, perfect. So that's how we started looking for symptoms. And on the 1st of December, I get a call from one of our patients who lives about 600 kilometers away from Bombay. And on the 1st of December, he tells me in the morning that I'm getting this post-nasal discharge, a lot of scrapiness in my throat. I don't have loss of smell. I don't have loss of taste. I have nothing, no fever, nothing, but just this little bit of scrapiness. I said, well, this could be a viral. This doesn't look like COVID. I told him, because you don't have any symptoms of COVID. This might not be a COVID. Get yourself tested to be on the safety side. It could be an allergic. It could be a viral. Such vague were the symptoms and such different were the symptoms as compared to the COVID symptoms. And the COVID test came positive, not only in him, but his wife as well. They both tested positive. The remedies that we gave him and the way he responded in 24 hours and then the 48 hours and the cough that he had persisted for a while, all of that responded to some of the remedies that we have been using consistently, successfully in many cases since then until today. We must have treated at least maybe 300, 400, 500 patients directly, indirectly, using the remedy protocol, and the results have been very optimistic. Of course, many patients are responding without much treatment too, but the homeopathic remedies have been able to lessen the discomfort, the trauma, the pains, and the dependency on any painkillers or antipyretics, as well as any antivirals, if at all they come in the scene in case the situation worsens. So we have been able to manage in all age groups, adults, elderly, 75, 78-year-old people, and of course, a lot of youngsters who have been getting this.
80 plus.
80 plus. Practically, our clinic has been seeing maybe 25, 30 new COVID cases every day, at least directly, and indirectly far more. We open our WhatsApp message and it's just filled with messages of somebody or the other who is unwell with COVID. So that's the way this particular variant has been affecting everybody. And we thought this is the right time to empower all our friends all across the world so that we all can help more and more people and see to it that they overcome the current situation. Yeah. So the current situation, the COVID Omicron variant is going to infect everybody. Everybody is going to recover most probably completely, but it can happen again too, because the virulence doesn't last very, very long. So we have to be vigilant. Yeah. So just keep all your senses. The protection, the antibody cover doesn't last very long. So we are again prone to the next possible infection at some later stage. So let's be alert, aware, and proactive in treating people. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably just hold one.
Yeah.
Just before we begin with all the remedies that we have used for the past, I would say, 6 weeks, 3 to 4 mainly. especially last two in India, since in the last 2 weeks, it's getting very, very, I mean, it's peaking, let's put it like this. But before we go to the remedies, some of the good things that I would like to say, of course, there are many questions whether, how do we come to know which variant the patient or when we ourselves are detected with, which variant it is. Okay, so in India specifically, there is the genome sequencing that is being done by the government on random samples. So on a, I would say on a clinical or a private level or a personal level, the doctors cannot really distinguish which variant we are dealing with. That's one thing. But what is most important is that when you look at the studies from the South African cases, when you look at some of the studies from the UK reports, yes, and when you look at what is going on in India, clinically, what we see with our patients and the symptoms coming up. So I'm taking 3 things into consideration: the South African reports, the UK studies, as well as, or the observations, as well as the Indian clinical cases in our practice, and with assistants and doctors associated with us. What you can very clearly see is that there is a very clear symptomatic difference between the newly developed picture, whether it's Omicron or whether whatever it is, we'll only know through genome sequencing. Doesn't matter. But clinically, there is a very clear picture which is different from the Delta variant, or which is different from the variant that was 6 months ago. Okay. And because we are clinicians, it's much more, and because we have to treat our patients or ourselves or our family members, what is more important is not which variant it is, but what are the symptoms that we have to deal with, what is the severity, and how alert do we have to be. Okay.
And what investigations we need to do so that our patients don't progress. The variant doesn't help us so much, but the blood parameters, the vital parameters, the various C-reactive proteins, maybe the chest X-ray, the CT scan, that is more vital for us to decide the plan of action.
And the severity, and to help the patient. Okay, so it's very clear that what we look into is symptoms. But having said that, yeah, very clearly, the new variant is showing symptoms which are different from the Delta. And what are those symptoms? See, what we saw earlier was high fevers. We saw high fatality. We saw people with very low SpO2s, that is the oxygen saturation. We saw people having immediate chest infections and pneumonia in the lungs, or we saw the ground glass opacities in the lungs. We saw that the blood reports showed the C-reactive protein very high titers of C-reactive protein, very high titers of D-dimer. Yeah, so both infective parameters were extremely high. Physically, patients had severe body ache, high fevers, 101, 102, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, staying for more than 4 to 5 days. We saw that patients had severe body ache, malaise, anosmia, ageusia, which is loss of taste and loss of smell, and patients had breathlessness or mild difficulty in breathing, even in mild to moderate cases. This was the scenario 6 months ago in terms of symptoms and basic blood parameters. I'm not going to go into the very detailed specific ones. As compared to that, this new variant or this new picture, okay, very clearly shows high infectivity, meaning people, so that's a bad thing. Okay, that's a bad news, but there is a very good news coming as well. So let's finish with the bad news first. This variant is having super high virulence in terms of infectivity. And we are seeing people who may have not even interacted with others, people who are lying low, people who are not so social. No. We are seeing infections even in them. Okay, so the virulence, this is far more highly infectious, 70% more highly infectious as a variant, but it is far less threatening. The symptoms of, so far, of course, everything is so far. The symptoms, what we are seeing as well,
You're on mute. You've muted yourselves.
we've muted ourselves. Are you, can you hear us now, guys?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
now we can.
Okay, so now what we see as symptoms, I'll tell you, is much more of cold, much more of like a flu symptom or even just a common cold. So we see coryza, we see throat pain, scraping sensation in the throat or scrapey throat sensation. We see headache with fever, definitely. I'm going to break down those symptoms into 3 clusters, but generally at the moment, I'm differentiating the Delta variant from this new one symptomatically. So here you're seeing not the chest symptoms, not lower respiratory tract infection. You're seeing more upper respiratory tract infection. So that's a very good news. Yeah. And everything is localized around the nasal mucosa and the throat, with very few cases needing or very few cases showing breathlessness or breathing difficulty or low oxygen saturation on the home pulse oximeter. Okay, so that's a very good news. The threat or the fatality is low, and it appears to be mostly that the new variant is strong enough so that it will overtake the Delta, which means that though the infection and people will have more of infection and more of common cold and flu-like symptoms, the fatality and the threat is far, far lesser. So that's the good news. So on the clinical basis, when my patient asks me, you know, which variant I am dealing with, I tell them it's not your business or my business. Yeah, we don't have the facility to genome sequence. We get you tested. Okay. Now, even if some of you tell me that the tests are also not very reliable, the home testing kit or the RT-PCR, which is now in question by the CDC as well, it does not matter. It does not matter to me. What matters are that you have some symptoms, better isolate yourself so that you don't infect anybody else, very important, and that we treat you homeopathically for those symptoms and that you are relieved, right?
Amongst the symptom presentation, remember, we have people who are afebrile and who are completely asymptomatic yet positive. So they as well do well on remedies. Second, there are a group of symptoms, patients, a major portion are ones with low grade fever, fever just about 100, between 99 and 100, so maybe about less than 38 degrees Celsius, if I'm correct, in your centigrade scale. Lately, for the past maybe 24 hours, we are seeing few patients with very high fever as well, of 102, 103 degrees Fahrenheit, so 40, 41 degrees Celsius too. So the picture is evolving too. Yeah. So, but the remedies that we'll be sharing with you has covered most of these states.
Right. And one more very good thing. See, some of you, especially in India, will tell me that the RT-PCR is taking a very long time.
Yeah.
The results, are taking a long time because of overload. Don't worry. Look for blood tests like CBC ESR just to see that the complete blood count is very good. Look for C-reactive protein. So what I do with my patients, what we do is we get them to do the CRP, that is the C-reactive protein, and D-dimer. These are the 2 basic tests that we get them to do, that too not in all cases. So if there's just a scrapey throat, then home isolate, we take the symptoms and fine. If the patient really wants to do, then these 2 are the tests to be done, or it's a patient with comorbidities. When I say comorbidities, I mean any other metabolic disorders, like elderly. or too elderly or too weak, or comorbidities like other systemic or metabolic disorders, diabetes, hypertension, any prevailing other diseases, dementias, motor neuron disease, any cancers, anything else. So in those cases, I do a CBCSR, C-reactive protein, and D-dimer. If there is a patient with a breathing difficulty, for example, just yesterday was one patient, this is the first one we saw in 6 weeks, an elderly lady who was actually doing well on one of the homeopathic remedies for 4 days, but then developed fever and her SpO2 dropped. So immediately we did a chest X-ray and then we changed the remedy. So there are a few cases like this. That's when we go for the chest investigations like X-ray or HRCT.
Again, before going to the remedies, remember clinical signs is people who are diabetic, especially in India. Doctors, remember, we have got a huge population of type 2 diabetics as well. And this infection, we have seen that the blood sugars are going up very high and the sugar does not come down until the infection is completely ridden off. So one of the indications that the infection is not completely out of your system could be very high blood sugars in otherwise a patient with very good blood sugars. Yeah, so keep that in your mind. Blood sugars remain very, very high. So keep checking, monitoring, and advising and medicating. You see, you have to have that entire global approach. It's not just the fever that we are dealing with.
Right. So I'll go to remedies and symptoms and then a few very interesting case studies. Like we had one with comorbidity, very high blood sugar levels. We had a couple with, I would say, breathing difficulty, a couple with very high fever. So those rare cases, we will go into them. But let's do a general.
Bhavisha and I were down with this infection on Monday and Tuesday. And Wednesday, we were working already. So yeah, so we have had a lot of experience treating outside with as well as inside. So that makes it more interesting.
Yeah, and also our symptoms. So first and foremost, we treat whatever is symptomatically because we are looking at it as homeopaths, yeah, and not breaking it into pieces. So we are treating the symptoms, we are treating the human being and not the pathogen. Okay, so it really doesn't matter what variant or what. The moment or whether the test is positive or negative or whether we rely on the test or not, we see symptoms, we treat symptomatically. Okay, next thing. Okay, we already discussed all this in detail. Yeah, let's go forward. I already told you these, the cold coryza. This is what is the picture coming up now. Mild or severe sore throat, coryzas, very simple cold-like picture. Headache with fever, I have definitely seen with many cases. Body pain, severe or sometimes mild. And the fevers are low grade. In the last 2 days, we have seen some with high fever, especially younger children. So we saw that the whole family was positive with mild fever, but the children, both the boys in 2 different families, developed very high fever. Yeah, 103, 102, whereas the parents who were positive developed only like 98, 99. Okay, so probably it's in the children that you see a higher temperature. They are also more reactive. Remember that. And scrapey throat. Okay, post-viral scrapey throat is another symptom that we are seeing where patients have the cough and a scraping sensation in the throat for almost 4 to 5 or 6 days post the fever. But all in all, I would definitely say that this variant takes much lesser time to recover than the previous one 6 months ago. Let's go next.
Yeah.
What is this? Rare cases. So we are now seeing rare cases with very rare cases of loss of smell. I had literally just one patient in these last 6 weeks who spoke about anosmia. In a very few cases, we have seen gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. But there was one case with very severe stomach pain on the 3rd day of being COVID positive. Yeah, almost colicky severe pain. But that was just 1 day and a few hours, and it settled with the remedy. And in very few cases, you see the severity. And in this variant, the severity seems to be shown through mental confusion and dullness. Yeah. poor SpO2 or breathing difficulty, of course, chest heaviness, a slight chest tightness, mental confusion and dullness. So when you see this confusion, dullness, then please check the SpO2 and be alert, act soon. Next. Okay.
This
now
is what you guys have been asking. Remedies, remedies, remedies. But what are we treating for? We need to know that.
Okay. So the remedies this time, I don't see arsenicum album so
No.
much higher up in the list. What is, and this is clinically proved, okay? So that is why sometimes some of them maybe on repertorization are more stronger, but clinically they haven't helped. What has helped, I have put it first, okay? Bryonia is the drug of choice in this variant, even as a immunity booster. Yes, we are using Bryonians.
And in
Okay.
1M is helping better. The first patient, as I told you, that I saw on the 1st of December, he just had Bryonia 200 SOS with him from our travel kit. And from our last year's COVID kit, we had Bryonia as one of the second remedies indicated. So he had just that remedy in 200C. And the response was slow with 200. But the moment he got 1M the next day, he immediately felt better by the end of the day. So Bryonia 1M helps repeatedly 3 to 4 times a day for 48 hours, does the big job of completing the, what do you say, acceleration of cure. And within 48 hours, the patient is afebrile and very aware. The body pain, the fatigue, all goes out in 48 hours.
Right. Now, what is then there are other remedies like phosphorus is the other one coming up very strongly. Rumex.
Yeah.
This is something I want to talk about because Rumex is what we are using rampantly.
So what is happening in cases is after COVID, after the fever settles down, the body ache goes in 48 hours. Further down, then people are getting severe cough. And that's where Rumex is playing a big role.
Very big. Then there is arsenic album in some cases still has been used. I'll tell you everything. Dulcamara as well, and in which cases we are using Dulcamara. Eupatorium and Abrotanum are two very strong ones used in elderly. Okay. Pulsatilla and Merxol less frequently, but they have also been used. I would say the first three remedies, Bryonia, phosphorus, and Rumex, are the ones which have created a huge difference, a huge impact, and very quick results.
Look for
In cases.
your part of
yeah.
But it is cold.
When it is cold in your part of the world.
In Europe especially, West, and in the West.
Look for Dulcamara more and Aconite. Yeah, these two may be strongly indicated in your part of the world, Dulcamara and Aconite. Also Rumex, because one of the most important thing of Rumex is cold air aggravation and change of weather. And if you now look at the new variant, it has come in at the, it has come in when winter set in. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at it from the homeopathic point of view, I'll come to everything, potency and everything, please. Wait. Look at the idea that Rumex, I can see in some cases, even when repertorization is being covered by phosphorus, yeah, Rumex has helped even more. And I think the reason is because the weather, I'm now not looking at the southern hemisphere, because in the southern hemisphere, it's more summer. Yeah. But up in the northern hemisphere here, yeah, Rumex is covering very beautifully whichever part of the world, because there is a change to winter and there is a change to cold air. Now you would say it's more warmer in India than there, but for us, it's colder than what it used to be. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Now, so we'll come to the indications. Can you go next? See, in the recent wave, we have actually divided patients into 3 clusters because there are these 3 groups that we can see very clearly. Okay. One group comes up only with throat symptoms, either mild or severe. And what are the throat symptoms? They have a scrapey sensation in the throat. They need to clear the throat often. Sometimes there is a feeling of a lump in the throat. And there is always this hawking or coughing. Okay, in post-nasal drip. Okay, there's also a post-nasal drip causing this cough, a cough when lying down, a cough which is aggravated from taking cold things or in the cold weather. So this is the cluster of the throat symptoms. And I see some patients who are having only throat symptoms. So it depends on what, because your T cells also have a varied response and different people have a different immune response, giving rise to 3 different groups of symptoms. We'll come to the remedies later. So there is the throat cluster. Then there is one cluster of patients who are not coming up so much with throat complaints, but they are coming up more with headaches, with low-grade fever or high fever, yeah, and body ache. Okay. So this is one group which does not show so much throat, but it shows generalized symptoms of fever and body ache. Okay, and headaches, very peculiar headaches. And then there is one cluster which is showing only nasal symptoms, the symptoms of the nasal mucosa, which is coryzas and cold and runny nose. Yeah, and then they have a sore throat following the runny nose. So we have either throat group, we have this headache group, and we have the headache and fever group, and the other is the coryza group. Go next. Now, my first point is, let's say you have somebody with all these, or you have somebody with none of these. When there are 3 clear ones, I will be able to tell you which remedies go with which group. But let's say you have a patient who falls in neither any of the 3, or is asymptomatic, or has others in the family who are positive, or has been exposed or to a lot of people who are COVID positive. The drug of choice this time is Bryonia. Last time was arsenic alum. Now you will tell me that this is not Bryonia weather. I also understand, but I can't help it. I'm clinically seeing that Bryonia is working. Okay, so
Bryonia weather was last year.
Bryonia weather was more last year or in the beginning of this year and towards the mid of this year with the Delta wave. But right now I'm seeing Bryonia work better as a immunity booster. So what we do is we are giving Bryonia in a 200 potency. I'm talking for all those patients, yeah, where even if there is no symptom or there is a lot of exposure to COVID positive cases or overexertion or things like that. Now remember, so it's Bryonia 200 once a day for 3 days, every week, not every 15 days, every week. The reason being this variant is far more infective. Okay, so that is what we use for build up for as an immunity booster. For those who are only at home, then I say, okay, once in 15 days, like we used to do with arsenic alum. Okay, like we did. Now, I just want to tell you one very interesting thing that if you remember how we explained our MAP system during the Delta wave, and we said that according to the MAP,
You're muted again. You're muted.
am I audible?
That's good. Sounds good.
Muting us. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, so remember I said arsenic alum covers the level 4 column 15. Bryonia is the plant counterpart of arsenic alum according to our system. Okay, so no wonder Bryonia is now being used in this variant as a immunity booster. Okay, so now I don't use so much of arsenic alum 30, which we did last time. We use Bryonia 200. Okay, also remember plant remedies are more reactive, fast reacting, right? Because they are very sensitive. Plants are very sensitive per se. And this variant is a very fast, quick developing one. So Bryonia 200, the plant counterpart of arsenic alum, works beautifully. So let's say I have some patients where some people in the family are positive and I'm sending them remedies. Yeah. So, but there are some who are asymptomatic, not positive, or positive and asymptomatic, or negative and asymptomatic. So there's nothing. Yeah. So for those patients also I send, so these I send symptomatic, but for these kind of people, I send Bryonia 200 once a day for 3 days and repeat it every week for about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, that's the logic. Now, Bryonia is also the remedy for that cluster which has fever. Remember, I said fever, headache, malaise. Out of the three, one cluster had fever, headache, malaise. Yeah. And they could have scrapey throat with it and everything. But once you see fever, headache, and malaise, just go with Bryonia. We were doing Bryonia 200 for the milder cases and 1M for the stronger. But now what we do is just go with Bryonia 1M straight away because it's getting very rampant in India.
The virulence is high and it's a rapid progressing and rapidly infecting infection. Hence 1M is a better remedy at this point.
Yeah. And 1M 3 times a day or every 2 hourly. That's the best way. We are seeing patients with 102, 103 fever within 24 hours settling. We are seeing patients with low grade, 99, 100 settling in 24 to 48 hours with Bryonia 1M alone. Even if they have a cough or something, if there is headache, malaise, and fever, first remedy of choice will be Bryonia 1M.
Their thirst won't be high, but they have a lot of dryness. They feel very dry. So that's again another very important symptom in Bryonia.
Right. Now, if you have the cluster of sore throat, okay, the sore throat people where you have no fever, you have no body ache, nothing, just a constant scraping sensation, then the drug of choice is phosphorus. The first drug of choice is phosphorus. I'll probably share a couple of repertorizations also, but phosphorus, and then the next one I have given is Rumex, but the first one with just a scraping sensation is phosphorus. It's when the cough sets in, the Rumex, not the Rumex, Rumex is a better remedy of choice. Now, if a patient has nothing else except a scrapey throat or the rest in the family have only a scrapey throat, then go for phosphorus 200 for the entire family. Okay. Merck Sol, we have only used in a few cases. Phosphorus and Rumex seem to help everyone. Merck Sol is when the throat pain is intense. Yeah. And there is a lot of redness in the throat. Now once there is a fever, we don't really call the patient to the clinic. It's always online. But we ask patient to click pictures or we do video calls with our patients, okay? So if the patient says that there's a lot of redness and very severe pain and swelling in the throat, then we go with Merck Sol. Again, the potency choice of phosphorus and Rumex is 200. I have not needed to use 1M at all. Like Bryonia, I use a 1M, but in Phos and Rumex, we have not needed 1M. We've done well with 200. Similarly, with Merck Sol,
200 is working very well.
Yeah, we've not needed a 1M. But I would say we have used more of phosphorus. And now with the cough, we use much more of Rumex.
In one of my patients whom I gave Merck Sol and it helped, but I had the choice of giving phosphorus Rumex, but I opted for Merck Sol because his constitutional state and the remedy that he was on as a chronic remedy, constitutional remedy, was similar to the level of Merck Sol, that is level 6. So I opted for that specific remedy rather than going to Rumex. So you can use the levels as well to decide what level your patient is on, especially if it's a regular following patient, and then use a remedy amongst the list that corresponds to that level. And of course, you will get the results.
I must tell you once again, please remember one thing very clearly. Right now, our clinic is open throughout these COVID 2 years. Our clinic has been open to all kinds of patients and not only our constitutional patients. Our constitutional patients, hardly any have got hospitalized, hardly any have got symptoms. Yes, now there are some who are positive, but that's because everybody is rampantly positive and they test themselves. So I would once again say that those who are on a constitutional treatment, keep repeating your patient's constitutional every month. Works as the best immunity booster, works in keeping your patient emotionally and physically sound, and then go to these remedies.
Absolutely.
Lot of these remedies and the patients, I'm telling you, are patients whom we call them our adopted patients, meaning they are not ours as constitutional. There are homeopaths who are referring them to us. And nowadays, there are so many other patients who just call up because they've come to know that we help COVID. So we are only treating them on an acute basis. Okay. So still remember, the constitutionals are doing very well in helping the patient's immunity and keeping them symptom free. Sorry, you wanted to say something?
Our clinic has always given our patients a travel kit. Yeah, a travel kit, a remedy kit from the clinic, which always has remedies like phosphorus, bryonia as an SOS. So they have used that very handy, they have come handy to treat this acute, and not only themselves, to treat their family members who are not on homeopathy. It's good to have some remedy kit with your regular patients too, because it's not always possible to lay your hands on homeopathic remedies in different parts of the country.
Right. And if you want to make a set,
Yeah.
if you want to make a set of remedies to give to your patient, then please give bryonia, phosphorus, rumex. These three definitely. Okay. And then they can keep in touch with you, and as and how the symptoms develop, you can give them the remedies. Now, this was just one of the repertorizations that I wanted to show, where we've taken throat pain in influenza, scraping sensation, dry fever, cough, dry, fever during, and clinically influenza. So these are the things we took, and you can see phosphorus, Nux vomica, aconite, which is why I said, but we haven't really seen much results with Nux vomica. It's mainly phosphorus and rumex, bryonia. You can see bryonia, sabadilla, arsenic as well. But on repertorization, you will always see a lot of remedies. Okay. What we have clinically seen, but of course you can keep all of these in mind if something doesn't work.
And if there is a specific group of remedies that you saw worked in your part of the world, do write to us so that everybody else can know about it and people are helped.
Right. Then there is a rattling cough. You see Drosera there. I have used Drosera and Spongia rarely in case of, especially Drosera in case of a rattling wet cough, but this was very rare. Mainly what has helped is Rumex. My one of my helps, my house help, yeah, she was one of the first ones to develop it almost about 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, and she developed fever. I sent her home immediately, and she was homebound then at her home. She did within 2 days or within almost 24 hours, bryonia helped the fever. So she was fine with fever, but then she developed in a severe cough, and it was a dry cough aggravated on talking, slightest talking, and it was consistent, constant, incessant kind of a cough. So when she came back within about a week, she was much better. But when she came back with this cough. And I started with phosphorus, but the moment I shifted her to Rumex, it was like in a day, the switch in her within a day. I did that yesterday with another patient as well. Actually, phosphorus was covering all the symptoms, but phosphorus did not help for 2 days with a very severe night cough, cannot sleep all night, cannot sleep on any position. Every position aggravates her cough. She was suffocated in the night. She was scared. She said, now I think I need to get my HRCT done. I'm sure it's gone to the chest. I told her it's not gone to the chest. Your SPOT is 98. So we don't need to panic unnecessarily. Let me just give Rumex a chance. Rumex was not covering the symptoms as much as phosphorus was. But the moment last night she took Rumex, within 2 hours, she called me and she said, this was miraculous. So I'm seeing Rumex really help instantaneously. My house help within 1 day. I could see the change in her face, the coughing stopped. She looked so much better. She said, I'm like, I feel like a whole layer has lifted off me. So this was the change we saw with Rumex in this time. Okay. There is one more repertorization where you'll see Rumex. In this one, you don't. More cough and less body pain, drug of choice, phosphorus. Yeah, we went through this. Okay, post-COVID rheumix. Yeah, so this is what I was telling you about, phosphorus rheumix. Pulsatilla, I'll talk about pulsatilla a little later. Do we have any other? This one, look at this repertorization. Here you see eupatorium, phosphorus, pulsatilla, calibi, and the fourth one you see is rheumix, or the fifth. Fifth one is rheumix, okay, which has cough in the night aggravates. It has cough up to about 5 a.m. It has cough dry lying side on, left especially, cough dry lying aggravates, cough dry. Okay, rheumix does not cover cough fever after, but I'm going to, if you read Allen's keynotes, yeah, for rheumix, if you can share with them Allen's keynotes, it's just amazing that, you know, the materia medica picture of rheumix. It has scraping sensation. It has the lump-like sensation, which a lot of people have come up with. It has the night cough. It has weather. Can they hear me?
Now they can hear you. Something is happening. Why is my voice going? Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, so it has the night cough, the scraping sensation. It has the lump-like sensation. It has fevers and dry cough, cough after fever. Yeah, so it's a very good remedy. Pulsatilla is another one when I see patients coming out of, like, they do not have this rheumix. I mean, they do not have the cough, scraping, nothing. And they are elderly or they have comorbidities. Then I try to give pulsatilla at the end of bryonia or when the fever settles, because pulse is anyways a great remedy post-influenza. Always remember, prevents a lot of complications post-influenza. Pulsatilla is a great antiviral by itself. Yeah, so that's rheumix. Yeah, you see, extremely sensitive to open and cold air, and that's the weather all over in the northern hemisphere. Okay, I would still say in the southern hemisphere, go more with pulsatilla for a post-viral cough. So if you're looking at Australia, New Zealand, South Africa,
even some part of lower part of India,
lower part of India, but then they're still in winter because it's northern, and go with pulsatilla. Okay. Now, eupatorium is another one that I did want to discuss. We discussed all major ones. Yeah, they can read this at home, yeah, in their own books. Can we go to the next slide? What else we have?
maybe. Yes.
Yeah, this is what I showed them. Go next. Older people. Eupatorium was another one that came up in the repertorization, if you saw, yeah, phosphorus eupatorium. So when I see, okay, I've already discussed this. Phos is less, the most severe cough is rheumix, then is phosphorus, and then is pulsatilla, the mildest of the three. Okay. If you go next. Yeah, we showed this repertorization. Please go next. Older people. Now, in some cases, we are seeing a lot of fatigue post the COVID infection or post the viral infection even. Yeah, let's just, sometimes the RT-PCR is negative, but people still have a symptom and people are still weak and still have the infection. So what we are seeing is two remedies coming up very strongly, eupatorium and abrotanum. Okay. Now, when there is tremendous weakness, when it is older age group, yeah. So when we are looking at above 70, and there is tremendous weakness, not so much body pain, but weakness, dullness, and fatigue and bad humor. Patients are very irritable and very angry that, you know, what is this and what have I gotten into? Think of abrotanum. Abrotanum also for children with COVID, please look at this. When you're having, because now it's the younger ones who are also getting positive. So when children get positive, and they have an ill humor. That means they are irritable, temperament-wise, weak. Think of abrotanum in a 200 potency is good enough. Okay. So in children as well as in the older elderly, I'm looking at this extremes. Go with abrotanum post-COVID. Okay. Not so much during COVID. During COVID or during the symptoms, we still see bryonia, phosphorus, something like that, more bryonia. But post, to cover up the weakness, to cover up, this feeling of fatigue, weakness, and this feeling of, it's an ill humor, it's an ill temperament that what has gotten into me, what has overtaken me, can't do my regular activities, can't get back to my full strength. Think of abrotanum. Eupatorium is when there are a lot of joint pains and body pains and cough. And so there is weakness, but much more body pain, joint pains, dengue-like. Yeah.
Especially the ones in India, you can relate to that pain. Yeah, dengue-like pain. That's when you see those with COVID-like symptoms, use Eupatorium.
So you have bone-breaking pains, body pain, and weakness. Yeah. And then you think of Eupatorium, 200 once a day. You may even need it for an entire week. Yeah. So post the flu or post the COVID symptoms, look at Eupatorium. Look at pulsatilla if there is nothing, if there are no symptoms, just as a cover. Look at Eupatorium and abrotanum, more abrotanum for the weakness and Eupatorium for the joint pains. Remember, joint pains is another very strong thing that can develop post-viral. Okay. I think that was the last one. So this is what we are generally observing in all the cases. I think we also discussed the potencies and everything. I would definitely say that please look at, if you have patients who have diabetes or are pre-diabetic, what we are seeing post-COVID is also some metabolic disorders, which means that people end up having high blood sugar levels, end up getting into the pre-diabetic bracket range. Yeah. So please look at Syzygium jambolinum, mother tincture, 10 drops 3 times a day or something like this for the next 3 months for the pre-diabetic people or people who develop high sugars post-COVID. And of course, you have to give them a diet and you have to give them all the lifestyle changes. But homeopathically, please don't forget Syzygium works wonders. And I have used it in several pre-diabetic cases, even before the COVID, to reverse diabetes along with lifestyle and diet changes. So remember,
jambolinum. Please write.
Syzygium jambolinum, that's one thing. One thing. I have seen recently, we are still to collect data, but we have seen some cases where post-vaccine, their sugars levels are higher or they are coming in the pre-diabetic range. We've started those patients also on Syzygium jambolinum. And of course, if you can take a constitutional, there is nothing like it. Okay, but again, I'm saying these are patients we are trying to help on an acute basis as well.
Pulsatilla to be used in 200C when there are no symptoms and you want to use it. So please do so. And Syzygium jambolinum in mother tincture, 10 drops twice a day, or begin with 8 drops before 2 big meals in half a cup of water. See the response, and then you can titrate the dose, either reduce it if the sugars go down too much or increase if the sugars aren't responding so well. Yeah. Some of you have mentioned the use of Nux vomica. If Nux vomica has been helping a patient, of course, it has got the weather modality suited very well.
And was also coming up in
the totality. Please go ahead, use it.
One more. Rauwolfia, we are also seeing, if you see high blood pressure post-COVID, then please go with Rauwolfia mother tincture. Now, see, these I'm only telling you as supportives. They are not going to completely cure. In some cases, what will happen is patients will get back to their normal, but not in all cases. In some, The flu, any flu has the capacity to do that. It has the capacity to trigger a underlying metabolic problem and make it a full-blown one post the flu even. Yeah, so it's not just related to COVID. So look at these remedies as supportives to begin with, like the cesium, like the Rauwolfia that I'm saying, but please also try and take a constitutional case and then treat the patient as a whole. This is just, I'm trying to help you with supportive remedies. And for heart, I would like to say Strophanthus. If you are seeing, and please get in touch with us, we would like to see if you are seeing a lot of this, or, you know, it helps us create a database, but it also helps us help your patient. Okay. Because we would like to see that if we have not seen a case who has heart problems or some kind of ischemic disorders, then it would be good if you find someone like that, and then if we can help, and that way we can collect data and see how many were affected
and helped.
And helped as well. So Strophanthus, again, either in a 6C or a mother tincture, yeah, as a heart tonic. For those who develop symptoms of ischemia, which is less oxygen to the heart. So if your patient develops symptoms of ischemia, go with Strophanthus, yeah, mother tincture or 30 or 60, I think is better. Yeah. A single dose that is in water. When you get 60 or 30 can be in pills, but 60 is usually liquid. Then you use it about 5 to 10 drops and drink up the water once a day. Okay. So these are some of the things we are covering post-COVID. We are also seeing some patients having it post-vaccine. I think it may not necessarily be the vaccine. It may be a lifestyle problem which eventually has surfaced. So you have to look into a lot of factors before blaming one thing. Yeah. Any other questions from your side? I think we've taken some general, we've given you some general information.
After effects of vaccine, we have mentioned earlier as well, you can use Tuja 30. Yeah.
1 minute. Repeat the remedy for blood pressure. Rauwolfia serpentina.
She has done it.
Zainab has written already. Just look into the chat. Dr. Zainab has written. One more thing. So Thuja, we are still giving everyone with the boosters, vaccines, everything 1 day prior, and then for 3 days along with the vaccine, Thuja in a 30 potency once a day. If you see symptoms post-vaccine, please let us know what they are. Sometimes if you see more cardiac symptoms or embolic symptoms or anything like that, slight paralysis or whatever, go with Vipera or Bothrops. We have given this to some patients, yeah, where somebody developed a sudden, I would say just a palsy, you know, like a paralysis
for a short time,
for a short period of time, and was treated with Vipera in a 200 potency once a day for almost 2 weeks. Okay, so Bothrops and Vipera are very good for post-vaccine circulatory problems, yeah, or hematological problems, not necessarily everything. What about Gelsemium post-COVID? So we have not used it.
You can try.
You can try. See, it depends. See, the good thing about homeopathic remedies is that there are some patients who have very peculiar symptoms, and we have so many lovely remedies to treat all of them, right? So if you have used and have seen the results, then go ahead, and that's wonderful. Gelsemium also was used in our last wave along with Bryony.
That was in 2020.
So Gelsemium, yes, definitely is very good for dullness and weakness.
There was this question that some patient got the COVID, got infected with COVID post-vaccination as well. Well, the vaccination anyway never guaranteed no COVID infection, but just a milder one. So we are not surprised.
In fact, there are many now who are all post. Everyone is vaccinated and everyone is COVID positive. So
nitric acid is good.
Now, Dr. Nazia, nitric acid, you treated the urticaria. Good.
Tremors post-COVID.
Tremors post-COVID, try with Vipera, try with Bothrops, please. Okay. try it in a 30 potency. Go with Bothrops. For tremors, I would say more go with Bothrops. 30 potency once a day. Try it for a week. Give it a stop.
Geeta,
Okay.
your patient with high fever, having increased appetite and unquenchable thirst, get his sugar tested for the most important thing. Get the blood sugar tested. And of course, use briny and high potency, but get the blood sugar tested because these are symptoms of hyperglycemia as well. For a week, have you seen chronic fatigue? Yes. We have seen patients who have got chronic cough, they have this fuzziness. There is a symptom that we have seen, they feel not normal but fuzzy in their head. And in many of those patients, we have helped them with high dose of vitamin C, and that has helped them recover through that fuzziness along with high doses of vitamin B as well.
COVID nosode, one thing I definitely want
Yeah.
to
We'll
talk
talk
about,
about.
that is the COVID nosode, and I completely forgot. You know, homeopaths were a little scared to use the COVID nosode or even take it.
I mean, we had asked for a proving, remember, this January for the COVID nosode, and nobody volunteered.
We had the nosode, but nobody wanted to prove it.
Yeah.
Because everyone was scared. Now, people are right, left, and center taking the vaccines, but you don't want to use the nosode. Anyways, I would like to give you one very short example of COVID nosode. We've used it with a lot of patients. We've also taken the nosode ourselves. But I want to tell you what happened with our son. Now, he is studying because he's studying for a competitive exam, and then everything is online, and he has classes like sometimes even at 10 to 12 in the late in the evening because his teachers are free only then. So he is like literally homebound and studying for 10, 12 hours a day. Now, sometimes, the AC is on for so long, the air conditioning, because it's very hot, not at this time of the year, but let me talk about June, July, August. That was when we got the COVID nosode, or even September, October. So that's when the temperature is very high outside. This fellow is studying very hard and just sitting in front of the screen. So he very often developed a post-nasal drip. Yeah, and I could see that it's more related to the lifestyle rather than a problem by itself. But we couldn't correct the lifestyle because he couldn't go out to play.
There are a few options.
There were few options. Going out was not allowed. The temperature was very hot. The times when he was free, there were classes, so he was always homebound. Now, what happened is we gave him the COVID nosode, and that was just more as a protection. It had nothing to do with the post-nasal drip. We gave him the COVID nosode more as a prophylactic or an immunity booster. What happened is, for 2 days post the COVID nosode, he developed feverish feeling,
upset tummy,
so a little bit of diarrhea. He developed about 99 fever, but more feverish.
He had fever for one night.
One night he had about 99, which is hardly anything, a very low grade fever, and he had to rest it out. That 24 hours.
And I would expect it to get into a full-blown infection because it sounded like an infection. But next day morning, he was absolutely fine.
But what is most important is the post-nasal drip completely cleared. Something that we were trying to deal with for 6 months with various remedies and couldn't help. The reason being, it was the situation, He had to sit in aircon. He had to sit in front of the screen. The weather was hot. He had to. So there was so much of situational factors that we couldn't change them, and we had to deal with the post-nasal drip. And then 1 dose of the COVID nosode, and I don't know which one is the nosode. Suchanda knows that peculiar.
We have COVID nosode from both the Chinese sputum as well as the American sputum. So I think I used the Chinese sputum. I gave the original one. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. So, and then till now, so we are at least, so he must have had the nosode in, I think, October.
Yeah, I've been giving him the nosode every month. I have been taking it as well. And yeah, so it gives a blocked nose for a couple of days, then it kind of clears.
Yeah, but with him, with our son, the post-nasal drip, which we were really trying to work with, is completely gone, right? It's also, so I would also suggest that for the post-vaccine, we have done this with some cases in Europe. We've given the nosode vaccine, the vaccine nosode itself as well, which is also available. That also works very well for
side effects
or side effects of the vaccine.
We have you get the nosode of the AstraZeneca available as well as the Pfizer nosode vaccine nosol is available.
Um,
So there is this question: what results in blood sugar level do you like to see to be happy that they are back to normal? 35 is very high. HbA1c should be below 6, but I don't know what moles that you're using,
yeah,
conversion scale.
the UK parameters are different, no?
So if you could convert it to millimoles, so anything below 6 is a good figure. I think 35 is a good figure. It comes to around that point. Yeah.
Because in India we use a different
Yeah.
scale. I'll probably be able to convert it online here and check what 35 means.
Will these potencies remain the same? Well, the potencies will remain the same in people who are vaccinated as well. So, because the symptoms intensity will decide the remedy potency. And when the symptoms are strong, yes, of course, they need the potency, which is higher. Very likely in people who have got milder symptoms or symptoms are not very clear, they're using 200C. During COVID?
Yeah, I think 35 is good. It comes
Yeah.
to 5.5.
That's good.
So that's very good, huh? Because
During
in India, we
COVID,
use
if
this-
blood sugar rises, can we give? Yes, you can give it in mother tincture form, but check sugars regularly. We have seen sugars remain high for a long time. So please be diligent, because the COVID might go, but the high blood sugar might lead to some other problems, especially if your diabetes is not well under control anyways. I lost. Where did it go? Wait a minute. What potency COVID knows?
I think we had a 30.
200.
200, okay.
Remedies indicated tremors, we said. I can't hear.
I told you the remedies indicated for tremor, both drops, yeah. And if you have a vaccine nosol, go with that.
Can you compare Thuja and Torula?
So we have not used Torula so much. Let me be clinically, if you ask me to compare them, then clinically, it's a good, it has been indicated, right? Have you put it up, Torula?
No,
It's sharing. But we use Thuja mainly, and we have good results with Thuja. So I would not be able to differentiate clinically. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? If there are any more new remedies coming up and new,
any specific remedy for loss of
we will
appetite
definitely
post-COVID? Look at abrotanum for loss of appetite. Yeah. I've used Covishield Potentize. Good. You get that at AstraZeneca as well. Potentized. Good. If you got the Covishield one. Our son was given the COVID nosol in 200. One patient developed DCMP. What is DCMP?
What is DCMP? Can you just elaborate for us?
Today I gave Rumex for throat escaping post-vaccination in 15-year-old boy. Stopped in 1 dose. Very good. Yeah, Rumex is good remedy, and the patient has kind of got 2+2, the vaccine as well as some viral infection. Dilated cardiomyopathy. Yeah. So in this case, we have used Strophanthus and we have used cactus as well. We have had a couple of cases with who was this patient who had this post-vaccination as well. Somebody had mailed me. Anyway, so we have had a couple of cases post-vaccination. They had cardiac symptoms, pericarditis, and I think Giovanna had spoken about it. It's an Italian patient. There as well, we have recommended Strophanthus and Cardus as well, and cactus.
Cactus. If you have liver symptoms, then Cardus
Yeah.
is a very good one. Cardus marianus. If you have nausea and liver symptoms post the vaccine, but cactus and Strophanthus for the cardiomyopathies or ischemias or anything related to circulation and the heart. There was one more question that I did want to answer now. It was
have seen carbo-veg. Yeah, good remedy. So those aren't available anywhere. So if you want, you can write to a clinic. If we have some spare, we can send them across. As far as we know, they aren't available elsewhere. Or I don't know if somebody is forthright to share that with you. We have some at home in the
But
clinic.
that we've ordered it from either
Yeah.
the US or UK.
Bone marrow inadequacy, no clue.
So I'll tell you what, influenzinum.
Hmm.
Influenzinum is a very good remedy. In any case that I use it for cancers, okay, and for bone marrow inadequacy, okay. So for hematological cancers, for leukemias, I anyways use influenzinum. It has been told in our materia medica. If you are in Europe or in the UK, then you can get the bone marrow remedy itself. Yeah, the bone marrow nosode. I forget the name right now. The sarcode, sorry, not nosode. You get that directly. Yeah. If I get the name, I will remember and let you know. It's very simple. Osseum, right? So it's called osseum something. Osseum medulla osseum. Sorry, it's as simple as that. Medulla osseum is very good. But in India, when I don't have medulla osseum, and lately it has been difficult to bring this remedy. For bone marrow insufficiency, go with influenzinum 200 once a day for 3 days, every week, yeah, for several months. Okay. I think we have covered most of the questions. What do you think about remedy before the vax? I don't understand. You mean giving the constitutional remedy before the patient takes a vaccine? Always good. Yeah. But Thuja is another very good one that we have given even with those of our patients who want to take the vaccine and are on constitutionals. Maybe they have just repeated the constitutional. We don't need to repeat the constitutional again. Okay. But yes, a constitutional, and I would definitely say that during these COVID times, once a month, we are anyways repeating the constitutional for all our patients. Okay, there is so much of stimulus, we will need the constitutional.
So Fantas, the lower potencies are good because we have to repeat it quite often. 6C is good and 30C is good. Mother tincture might be a little strong.
We are using Strophanthus 6C, 30C, Cardias also, Cactus also 6C, 30C.
If you're using a cardiac tonic, then it has got all of these remedies in mother tincture form.
Yeah.
Malandrium. Okay. My God. Which point would be taken during this period?
So let me tell you, if I start taking mind symptoms, then I would rather do a constitutional case taking.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the mind symptoms that mainly comes up, and that is why bryonia and earlier arsenic covered. And the bryonia symptoms are, you know, there's so much. You do not like to be disturbed. You do not want to be affected anymore. Okay. Then the fear of poverty, the fear of economic crisis. Okay. Then the fact that, so it's fear of poverty, fear of economic crisis, insecurity, and hoarding. So these are the emotional symptoms based on which we had earlier thought of arsenicum. Bryonia is anyways the plant counterpart and fits in the bill for the physical symptoms also for this variant. Apart from that, if there are any very peculiar mental symptoms, I rather go for the constitutional, and I would then take a full-blown case.
If you look at the current situation in the clinic, we don't have time to take a constitutional case for COVID, because when they come, they're not just one person. When a call comes of a particular family, it's never one person is unwell. It ends up being so many people in the same home. So it is not practically possible to take acute cases of all of them. Sorry, a detailed case of all of them, but you take acute totality and you prescribe.
And side by side, our constitutional clinic is going
on. And the patients who are under our care are always given the constitutional remedy as the first plan of action. And then, of course, these remedies as a backup.
Or new cases are going on. That's one line. And this one is just us trying to help as many people as we can in COVID times. Okay.
We are not traveling. So we are a personal question. What are you doing about not being allowed to travel without we are not traveling.
Simple.
You can see so many webinars that we are doing. Otherwise, we would be halfway hopping around the world by now. we haven't visited the airport for such a long time, and I don't miss it. It is very difficult, and the rules are so challenging everywhere. It's either you are with us or against us, and the logic of vaccination or not is somehow not getting into everybody's brains, and the logic doesn't seem to apply everywhere. It's better to wait rather than go against the wind. You let the wind settle down and the clarity will come up.
I would just say one thing. Yeah. If you have to take the vaccine,
It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. Remember one thing, because this is what I have been telling some of my patients who want to travel, who have to do it for work, but do not want to take the vaccine. See, it's as simple as that. There is so much around that is so wrong. Okay. The mobile towers. Okay. All the chemicals in our food, in our cosmetics, in our shampoos, there are parabens, there are chemicals that exactly simulate the estrogens in our body. We have been using them blindly and endlessly. I am not saying that therefore you should take the vaccine. What I'm trying to say is, if you have to, yeah, and if you do not have a choice, do not make it into a mountain or a demon out of a molehill. In fact, I would say be positive, take Tuja, and more than Tuja, just be very positive that it's not going to affect you.
We are too big.
You are strong, and that, this is, there are evidences and instances and real life examples where people have taken poison and it has not affected them. That strong is the human mind and human body. So we as homeopaths, instead of being confident about our strength, we are always worried about our fragility. Why? So why are we making ourselves so fragile? And the more you think about it, that, oh, I do not want to take it, it is going to affect me, but I have to take it. If you're going to be in this dilemma, you're going to be affected. If you're not going to take it, be confident about your choice. If you're going to take it, be confident that your body can take worse than that. Simple.
Yeah. And remember, if any of you were unlucky to be admitted for any illness or any infection or maybe a surgery in the hospital, and you have been injected with, amongst the 1,000 things that are needed to keep you alive, and you survived, did you ever think that I've been given maybe X number of injections of X remedies and Y remedies and other things maybe during the surgery? How is it going to react? No, the objective was to get out of that situation. But now this new demon and the protein content or the stabilizers, maybe in those could have been a part of the vaccine as well, that are used in the vaccines as well. We never know what's in there. But when we don't think about it so much at that point of time, why do we want to make such a big demon out of the vaccine situations? So take it as a matter of fact, take it or don't take it, and just move on with your life. Yeah. Good. So I think we can conclude if there are no questions. Great. So treat, help more. Yeah, I'm used to saying enjoy, but yeah, that's the way life should be. So do well, treat as many as you can. I'm sure all of us will be, we both are already infected and gone through this Omicron. Hope you guys as well recover if at all you get infected, and share your experience, share the remedies that you're using and that have helped. That will help us share more remedies with more people and get more remedy options. Great. Bye, everybody. Bye to Ireland. Bye to all our Indian friends, Germans, Romanians, Canadians, Americans, Macedonians, Spanish. Preeti from Bahrain is there. Yeah, and of course, a big thank to Dr. Zainab, our assistant, who diligently has been typing. I've just been saying, Zainab ji, please type. And she's been there doing all the work for us as ever.
She's our pillar of strength.
Yeah, she's the pillar, and that's why the clinic is working. Yeah, we are just, standbys. We are available whenever we are. So thank you very much. And thanks everybody. Thanks our friends from all across the country. Thanks, Dr. Naz. Thanks everybody. Use the remedies, share your remedies that you have used, and of course, help more and more. Bye-bye. Belated happy birthday, Kathy.